I'm afraid you're gonna have to walk around the compound, Dave. Raven. Raven, Raven. Sleepy girl. Hi. Hi, pretty. Hi, pretty baby. Hi, sleepyhead. You having a good nap? You having a good nap? Just like I was. I was. I'm not currently having a good nap. Hi. Hi, beautiful. Hi, baby. Some people are like, why would you disturb her? Why would you disturb her? She wasn't sleeping because, okay, she had her head down and she was looking kind of more that way. But as I came around the corner, she had her head up. And then she put her head down. So it's like, all right, she's not actually like asleep just yet. Yeah. She's not there just yet. So I don't feel so bad about going up and saying hello. Saying hello to her. Maybe getting some cuteness in the mix. Capturing some cuteness. Oh, you guys, I got a good feeling about this one. I feel like the light is good. The air is nice. I think the dorbs, as long as I keep everything in focus, holy crap, wasn't even looking at my screen. I think the dorbs are going to be plentiful. I think it's going to be a good harvest. Oh my gosh, look at you. Look at you, Zizi. I love it when they do that. I love it. It's one of my favorite things in the world. When they just sit there, because that means they're excited. And they just sit there and they paw. They paw at the grass. Scritch, scritch, scritch. Scritch, scritch, scritch. What are you doing? What are you doing? You feeling pretty good? Yeah? Oh my goodness. I know, right? It's a beautiful day out. It's a beautiful day. These two little girls, they were just snoozing. But they heard me. They heard me trying to sneak up towards Raven, and then they were inside the middle thing. They both lifted up their heads. And they're like, what are we doing, Dad? What are we doing? And I'm looking at them just like, don't blow my cover. Don't blow my cover. Oh, hello all you big cat lovers out there. It's me, Derek again. Welcome to another super duper fantastic episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. I think that my screen slightly schmutzy. Wouldn't you know, the temperature is in the 70s right now, but we had a wintry blast, a wintry push, where temperatures were just barely getting above freezing. That was just a few days ago. Wind chills were just dipping down into Wintersville. And then it just gets up to this. That's the thing, the swings. People want to sit there and talk. Yeah, I'm not even trying to say like, I don't know. You sit there and try to say just like, hey man, it got down to like this temperature, and then someone's like, it's not that cold. I'm from Canada. I'm from Finland. Because that's how Finnish people talk. I'm from the... And that's the other thing. Other people, it's like, all right, maybe your place is cold. Yeah. And then talk to someone who lives in the Arctic Circle. And then to the people that live in the Arctic Circle. Talk to the emperor penguins. There's always going to be someone. And then the emperor penguins. Why don't you talk to Halley's Comet? Huh? Come on. There's always going to be something colder. Just stop. Just stop. Get a hold of yourself. Hi. Is it enough to be uncomfortable and or cause, like harm from exposure? Sass, up here. She's like, no, It's too nice to jump on platforms. There you go. Not that cool. Although, if you're Micah and you're trying to get some ice cream and it's like 62 degrees out there, whoa, watch out, Crazyville. Crazyville. Oh, someone decides to come out and say hello. Hi. Hello. Hi, Mr. Man. Hi, Mr. Man. Oh, my goodness. Oh, hi. Hello. Hi. Hi, handsome. Hi, Mr. Ace. He's walking around just good, fine. Your eye's a little bit boogery. Little bit boogery. Slightly boogery. Ah, yes. Peace, great Mark. Peace, great Mark. Watched another one of those, watched a documentary. Oh, about artificial intelligence, because, you know, I'm into that stuff. And you see it. And it's funny, though, because the way that, excuse me. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. And it's funny because the reason that I learned about the doc is because, of course, I have my Google account. Whenever I open up my phone, it shows me different trending topics based on my searches, based on where I like to go. So there's a profile. There is a footprint, a database that's based on me, where they know like my habits, like how much money I might be willing to spend on an item, like what time when I check on certain things, or what sort of ideological leanings I might have. I mean, they know. Ha! Hi, Sugar Pie. They know so much about me. They know more about me probably than even like my mom or even like Heidi knows about me. And I'm not even like saying that hyperbolically. It's actually true. Like when you look at like all of the data, if you're on like Facebook or Google, especially those two, the amount of information that they collect is just staggering. Staggering. Your interactions, spending habits, the type of articles that you react to and respond to. So it gets like an intrinsic like value system kind of metric. And this is not even what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about some of the stuff in the that did come up in the documentary. Go figure, that's some of that Cambridge Analytica stuff. Interesting, right? What are you doing? What are you doing? She's like, if I see an artificial intelligence, I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat it because my name is Selena. Get out of here, robots. Get out of here, robots. This is my house. Get out of here, you sticker robots. That's what she said. But it's this documentary, and it was called Do You Trust This Computer? And it just came out this weekend. It was actually streaming for free this weekend. I tweeted it out, but it's not streaming free. I mean, look, if you search for it, you can find it. But I'm sure that there's going to be other ways that you can actually support the creator, because the documentary is very well made. And I tend to default towards trying to support content creators whenever possible. So I'm certainly not going to sit there and say like, well, you can just get it over here. They actually, someone very thankfully ripped it and put it up on this other thing. It's like, you know, no, I'm not going to. But it talks about, excuse me, it pretty much talks about where we kind of are currently with the development of it, like how pervasive it is, more so than what like the average Joe or the average citizen would realize. How fast it's currently developing, how much faster artificial intelligence systems are progressing beyond what many of the experts had originally anticipated. Hi, Yano. Yano, I saw you just kind of rolling around. I saw you rolling and stretching. I saw you rolling and stretching. Butt scratch. Butt scratch. He says, that is very nice. Please keep doing that. Hi. Well, I don't even know who you are. They're just going, woo, to the cats. Yeah. I have a gaping hole in my life, in my soul. I don't even know who I am. Ah! But it had a lot of tech leaders, people who are developers of certain technology, or they sit in leadership positions in a lot of different technology companies. Probably the biggest name on there would be Mr. Elon Musk. He was part of the documentary, but different guys like Ray Kurzweil was on there, and just other folks that I hadn't even heard of, but you know, they sound smart. You sure do sound like you know what you're talking about. And they basically are talking about this whole notion that this technology is being rapidly developed everywhere. It's being developed commercially, it's being developed by governments, and it's almost like it's an arms race. That's really what they're likening it to. That the development of machine learning systems, of artificial intelligence, is, a lot of these people are making the prediction that it will be as impactful as gunpowder was for tilting the sway and gosh, I mean, the amount of change that happened between, you know, like the 1500s to the 1800s, just huge. And then the nuclear power came into being in the 40s, and that changed just everything. Global politics, it still has a massive effect on the geopolitical situation, and they're likening the emergence of, whoo, that was a loud one, whoo. They're likening the emergence of artificial intelligence to that. And it's like the application of it is, hi, bud. Well, and the thing is, it's like people, they think it's a sci-fi kind of thing, and they even talk about that. They're like, look, some of the stuff, it sounds so strange that we even have to have these conversations. Even the people who are in it, like, I get it. It sounds like we're speaking from the perspective of like a sci-fi comic book. A young man would read in the 1950s. Will robots ever think? Stay tuned. But yeah, they're really trying to sound the alarm. Like, look, this stuff is starting to really accelerate. The progression of it is really starting to accelerate. It's accelerating faster, and there are things that are happening that we need to be cognizant of. We need to be aware of. That there needs to be certain considerations taken during the development of it, because we could really mess things up for ourselves. We could mess things up for our species. We could just mess things up for life in general. If we kind of haphazardly develop this type of stuff. That you ostensibly create, and this is taken, like Elon Musk was even talking, you ostensibly create an immortal dictator. Which that doesn't sound too appealing. Not at all. And if, you see, like, it's never gonna happen because I'm a person and you're made of circuits and wires and stuff. Why am I doing that is such a stereotype. I hate that. I shouldn't do that. Whenever I try to make something that sounds ignorant, you just do the stereotypical Southern voice. But just because you're from the South doesn't mean like you're stupid. I hate that. I really do. It bugs me. But I find myself, I'll just, hey, see you. And it's what people do. They just like, oh, well, that's a whole class of millions and millions of people I can just absolutely just make fun of. And it's fine. It's a stereotype. How about this? I don't believe that computers will ever be capable of consciousness. It sounds like a flim-flam of fancy. Shoo. Hi. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. But one of the big things that they were talking about the usage of autonomous weaponry, autonomous military weaponry, where it's like, and it starts off where you increase. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, hello, you are so cute, you're so cute and squishy. Oh my gosh, do you even know how cute you are? Do you even know? Nato, do you even know? Do you even know? He's like, I do. Look, get out of here. It's my time. It's my spotlight. It's Nadal's time. But autonomous military weaponry. I mean, they're already doing a lot of different things as far as targeting systems and using algorithms to better differentiate certain kind of things. And it's basically what they're saying is that this stuff is being developed so fast, and it's like, it's cowboy stuff. It's pioneer days. It's Wild West. There's no like governing regulatory kind of thing. Anyone can do just whatever they want, and like the whole development of artificial intelligence and machine learning and data capture. And it's happening at a faster and faster rate. And that's generally what technology has always done. Technology has always come, like, the development of technology has always happened. Oh, they're butchering right now. That's why Bonnie's like, there's tasty things happening in that direction. Technology has always outpaced our ability to regulate or our ability to moderate or govern ourselves. The technological development has always come first, and then the question, like, hey, what should we should probably be responsible with this stuff, right? Like, yeah, we probably should. So this is kind of like the next instance, like the 21st century iteration of that. Hi, Meta Pita, how are you? I saw her tail. Hi, baby. I'm just gonna put my phone down to my side. Hi, Sugar Pie. Hi. Hello. How are you? She's just in there. I didn't want to bring the camera up. Trying to be very conscious about that. Hi, Tess. And this is the other thing, and this is actually something to do with machine learning at this point. And machine learning is just that. And that's the thing that they're finding that the way that they're doing it is they're basically just allowing these software programs to kind of in almost like a naturalistic fashion, evolve their own sense of understanding about their environment or tasks that they have to complete. And they do so by just simply just by observing and by just being given data and sometimes being just given very, very limited instruction, like, hey, figure this simple task out, and then here's the data, and then here's your cognitive flexibility, and then it just literally they turn it on, so now it's like it's a newborn infant, a clean slate to the world. It has no idea about how anything works, nothing. But in a very short period of time, these machine learning programs are able to master very complicated task sets. And they're able to master certain things that, of course, this will never get replaced. A human being will always be able to do these certain types of things. And it's like, like, that was like the first thing, because this was back in the 90s when they used computer programs to defeat chess grandmasters. But that was a whole thing, because that was actually kind of just dumb programming. It wasn't so much like artificial intelligence. It basically was just like, all right, we're just going to feed you a number of moves and maneuvers. Hi. And then you're just going to be able to differentiate the best probable outcomes and calculate in your head, 50 moves into the future. And you're just going to be able to use... Oh, hey, bud, how are you? You all right? Ooh, you got some, uh-oh, got some stuff in your lungs there. Yeah, a little wheezy. Hi. All right. That's that's kind of, okay, that's kind of their version of coughing and everything, and he just hocked a loogie. Oh. You feel better? It's the same kind of, hey, he's an old guy. He just gets a little bit more kind of phlegmy. My grandma used to do that. She used to just get out a napkin and just, after coughing a little bit, oh boy. I'm like 7 and she's just doing that. And I'm just like, what? All right, well, I guess that's just what grandmas do. Hi, baby. Hi, sugar pie. Yeah. You got some heart? Yeah. No, it's my Instagram. But there were, the chess computers. That wasn't, I wouldn't call that like, oh my God, but it showed the power of just computational programming. And they say like, okay, well, chess, that makes sense because there's a tremendous amount of maneuvers, but it is ultimately, somewhat restricted and finite. So yes, it makes sense that a computer would be able to best a person. But with a game like Go, which is, I don't even know, it's like Chinese chess or something like that, where it's like the black and white. It's like backgammon on steroids. And he said like, well, no, a game like Go, because there's so much intuition, there's so much creativity that has to go into it. A computer will never be able to best a human. And through machine learning, and again, it's machine learning, the computer basically just kind of watching Go players and watching them, and then just saying just like, oh, I get this. And then just like, and it's learning, it's watching, and it's realizing, okay, here are the stakes. This is how this works. Okay, well, let me use my computer brain to come up with a whole bunch of really awesome strategies. And it does. It does. That's how they think. That's what the sound that they make. So now you have machine learning programmed computers beating Go players. There you go. They're beating them. And then the next thing people said, like, okay, all right, well, maybe it'll be able to beat, because like Go is like, okay, it's just moves on a board. Okay, so that can be broken down to just code. What about a game like poker? Okay, poker, you have to be able to like bluff people. You have to be able to bamboozle them. You have to be able to not show emotion. There's certain kind of things, and then there's so much intuition as far as like what the other person's motivation is going to be, and trying to get them to think and take action based on what they think your motivation is going to be. There's no way, because there's such a degree of subtlety and emotionality that has to go into it. There's no way that a computer is ever going to be able to beat a person. And guess what? Recently, they did. They had machine learning programs watching world-class poker players. And yes, like I said, when you first get a machine learning computer program to first start trying to do a thing, it's going to be very bad at it. It's not going to know, because like it's like a baby. It's like an infant trying to learn its way and trying to figure out its surroundings and what just reality is. But then within a very short period of time, it's beating everyone. It's outpacing their human counterparts. And it's happening in all of these different industries and all of these different, or I guess I should say all these avenues so far, that so many people said like, well, people are never going to get replaced. There's no way. And then we're coming to find out that it's absolutely, a lot of this stuff is going to get replaced. Oh my gosh. Hi. So, I mean, of course, we're talking about like the massive socioeconomic and socio-political upheaval that's going to take place, of course, from machines. And I've talked about this before. Machines taking over jobs. They took my jobs. They took their jobs. Autonomous vehicle technology is going to really affect the 2 million people who are, they work within the transportation industry in the United States alone. There's 2 million people that work in the transportation industry. You're talking about them possibly being out of jobs relatively quickly. People who are data entry specialists, white-collar data entry specialists. These machine learning programs are watching people work. They're watching the way that they perform data entry jobs, and they are basically saying like, oh yeah, I can do that. I can do that. That's another 8 million people possibly going to be out of jobs. Not just unemployed, but unemployable based on the skill sets that they currently possess. And again, people say like, that's never going to happen. It's starting to happen. We need to start really, really paying attention about how all of this stuff is developed. And it was because this is also another thing, because I think that there's different types of narrowly defined artificial intelligence, and like we already Google actually is a form of like very kind of rudimentary artificial intelligence already. The stock markets actually kind of works on a rudimentary artificial intelligence system. Air traffic control and like airplane piloting. Yeah, does. And a lot of the things about this stuff is that like even the people, here's the thing, even the people who have developed the systems, they develop the software, they're actually the top level researchers into artificial intelligence technology. When you really boil it down, they don't exactly know how the stuff currently works, like how the machine learning stuff actually works, because there's a point at which the algorithms get so complicated that they have to understand their human-based cognitive limitations. They just simply cannot. They don't know how the stuff actually does what it does, how these machines learn to do these certain tasks. They try their best. They actually go through and they mine through the data. Okay, they have a software program, they have it watch certain things, they have it learn certain tasks, and then they go through and then they look at the data to try to discern, okay, this is what this means, and this is, oh, it learned this. That's very interesting. Oh, how did it evolve to learn this? Ah, very interesting. And you have to look at it almost like we're accelerating evolutionary. The whole machine learning is the rapid, massive acceleration of evolutionary processes. Basically, you're putting a whole bunch, so you have to think of like different little bits of like software kind of code. They're almost kind of like their own life forms, and each little bit of there's multiple different little bits that can make up a task, and those little bits can also be thought of almost like as neural connections, and the way that they kind of do it. Like, okay, well, we want you to learn how to, like, give like a robot with like some very rude, like machine learning software, just wiped clean machine learning software, and you give a robot this simple task, like, hey, learn to walk. You just give it that instruction. That's it. Learn to walk. It has to figure out its environment. It has to figure out what the nature of up and down even is. It has to start like okay, this is what gravity is. Oh my gosh, this is okay. These are my arms. This is what I have to work with. Okay, here's okay. This, and it has to do all this stuff. So it has to go and perform thousands and thousands, millions potential. Ooh, Buzzard. Yep, they saw that Buzzard. They're just like, yeah, I don't like it. Get out of here. That's actually a distress signal. When they see something that's just like, stranger danger, stranger danger. They do that. They make that noise. So what happens is that these programs will make millions upon millions of different kind of calculations. And it's basically trial and error. Is this beneficial? Is this code beneficial? Does this work? Does this work? Does this help me do a thing? Does this help me do a thing? But it's able to do it at thousands of calculations per second, or depending on how strong the server capacity is. And then it's able to slowly evolve, or rapidly evolve, I guess I should say, a cognitive framework, a foundation, if you will. So certain bits of code or certain kind of neurons that are not useful, they get tossed away. Again, that's natural selection. Natural selection. It evolves. It's an evolutionary process. And the only things that are left are bits of code that are helpful, that can help them accomplish their tasks. Hold on, we're going to get to that 33-minute and 10-second mark. Pretty soon. All right. That was kind of dumb. I said it too soon. But yeah, this stuff, it's pretty wild. And to go back to the whole example of the robot, there actually was an instance of that where they had, and that was in that documentary that I was watching. Do You Trust This Computer? That's the name of the documentary. Where they took this, it was almost like it was a weird kind of, it had like articulated joints, it had it had movement capabilities, and it had like camera sensors on it, so it could see its surroundings. And again, they just gave it a clean slate machine learning kind of thing. They gave it simple instructions, learn how to walk. And yeah, it was really kind of weird. Where I was like, it was just having a spastic episode. It had to figure out just itself first. But then I think like after a few days or maybe a week or something like that, it was like it was kind of doing like this rudimentary walk. It taught itself how to do that. And then they said something kind of cruel to it, where they removed one of its limbs, and then they said like, all right, hot shot, learn to walk now. And then the thing is like, it's like I don't know what happened. But again, it had to go through the successive evolutionary process, trial and error, where it's like, oh, and then with its one missing thing, it's like, it started to learn how to be mobile once again. They started going into the nuts and bolts again to learn about the quote cognitive makeup of that program. They wanted to see like, okay, what did it create? What sort of code did it generate? And they ended up finding something that was really, really creepy. That machine, it actually learned how to recognize and track faces. The faces of the scientists who were actually working on that project. It was never given that instruction. But it knew. First, it had to know what a face was. And then first off, like, how did it even come to decide that? Like, why did it decide that was an important thing? But it came to understand and realize that, hey, faces are something that I should probably know about. For some reason, these are important to the things that are kind of these beings, or these, what has to know what does it even know what a being is? That's where you got to break it all down. But for some reason, it decided to prioritize just simply understanding what a face is, recognizing how to recognize a face, and then tracking the faces of the people. They figured that, and it was, again, it didn't have that initial programming. It wasn't connected to the internet. It wasn't given those instructions. It did it on its own. Did it on its own. So yeah, this stuff is progressing at a rate, and it's going forward in a way that is, we really need to kind of sit down and try to figure some stuff out. Like, we really kind of need to make sure that we're doing stuff responsibly. So yeah, that's it. It was a fascinating documentary. If you ever get the chance to actually, watch it, highly recommend it. Anyway, thanks for watching this episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. I'm actually going to film a fancy cast right after this. If you want to watch the fancy cast, of course, you can go to the Patreon link down in the video description below. Like and subscribe, #DorbsToward in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. I always love hearing people's opinions about the topics of discussion. And yeah, that's about it. That's about all I got. Thank you much for watching. I'll talk to you folks later. All right. Bye-bye.